Hi guys, and welcome to the next lesson on the quantitative aspects of chemical change. Today we are specifically going to be looking at percentage yield and purity. Okay, so let's start with percentage purity, and we are going to do these two by example because I feel that's the best way to do this. So remember, percentage purity means that I have a substance with unknown chemicals or materials inside of it, but it also has a pure component. And if I have that, I react that impure sample, that impure substance, sorry, not impure substance, with another chemical, let's say for example hydrochloric acid, only the pure component of the substance will react. So let's look at this example. It says an impure sample of calcium carbonate, this guy, contains calcium sulfate as an impurity. When excess, so again that one isn't my limiting reactant, this one is, was added to 6 grams of a sample, 1,200 cubic centimeters of gas was produced, measured at STP. So the gas, so now I look and I see this one is my gas, so that means that is the volume that I have. Calculate the percentage purity of the calcium carbonate in the sample. So this one, that value you use wrong. You use that mass in your stoichiometry calculations. So my advice to you when you're doing percentage purity, don't start with your mole steps. Start with what they ask you. They ask you for percentage purity. So you start with that formula. It's the mass of your pure substance over the mass of your impure substance times 100, because remember that's how I work out a percentage. So let's say you wanted your test percentage, it's your the value you want the percentage for, your marks over the total number of marks times 100. So it's what I want, the mass of my pure substance over the impure times 100, and then you put in the values here that you got over here. And you don't have the mass of the pure calcium carbonate, but you have 6 grams of the sample, which means I know what the mass of my impure substance is. So that is the mass that I have. And now you let your equation lead you in what you need to do further. Because if you have already written down that value, you won't use it any further. It's just that you see that value and you feel weird not to use it. But yeah, you don't need to use it. So what do I need? I need to calculate the mass of my pure substance. So, and then I like to do this. Remember I said, when do you know you need to do your mole steps, your stoichiometric calculations? It's when they give you information on one, but they ask you a question about another. Then you use your mole steps. So now I'm going to use my mole steps to determine that value. So I first determine the mole of the substance that was given. In this case it's my carbon dioxide, and they give me a volume, so I use this formula, and they say it's at STP, so I use 22.4. but remember this value needs to be in cubic decimeters, so I need to divide by 1,000. So it's 1.2 over 22.4, and that gives me a value of 0.054 moles. And now I can determine the mole of the one that was asked. There is no limiting reactant here because there isn't enough information. And oh, sorry, they said this one was in excess, so but they don't give you any other information on that one, so it's fine. I can just use that and that with my ratios. So I know the ratio of my calcium carbonate and my oxygen, and my carbon dioxide, it is balanced, so I use a ratio of 1 to 1. And even if the ratio is 1 to 1, you need to show it. So that means the mole of my calcium carbonate is also 0.054. And then I can change the mole into the asked quantity. In this case, I need the mass. So I use this equation. 0.054, the mass is what I want. The molar mass I can get off the periodic table. Remember, it's the mass of calcium plus a carbon plus 3 oxygens, which is 100. And then to get the mass, I just multiply those two and I get 5.4 grams. So that means that of my 6 grams, only 5.4 grams was pure calcium carbonate. And now, and just don't forget this step as well, so the top points for which you lose marks is you use that one wrong, and sometimes the other kids, again, they do their stoichiometric calculations and then they forget to actually just calculate the percentage purity which was asked, and then you just input that in your calculator and then you get a value of 90%. And the same thing applies for my percentage yield. So what is my percentage yield? So when I go into a laboratory and I do my chemical reaction, there's always some product that it's lost due to evaporation, the temperature, at the pressure, the atmospheric pressure, human error. You never, or most of the time, you don't get out what you thought you would get out. So a huge part of your practicals, especially at university level, will be to calculate percentage yield, because I can calculate theoretically, in other words, pen on paper, how much, if I have so much of this one and this one, how much of this one will I get? But the reality is I won't have that. And that is what my percentage yield is going to tell me. It's going to tell me how successful my experiment was. How much did I get out compared to what I thought I was going to get out? So again, the same with my percentage as with my percentage purity. You're going to start with this equation and let this equation lead you and allow you to fill in the values that you have that you shouldn't use in your stoichiometric calculations. So for example, they say that 128 grams of sulfur dioxide was reacted with oxygen to produce sulfur trioxide, and there's my reaction. So 140 grams of my sulfur trioxide was produced in the reaction, and I should calculate the percentage yield. So that one they gave me, this one they should always give me, because I'm not in the lab to know what the value is that you got out, but you can determine a theoretical value, and that is what we are going to determine now with our mole calculations, with our mole steps. So again, they gave me information on this one. They gave me the mass, but they asked me for this one, the mass of the experimental mass of that one. So I'm going to do my mole steps again. The mole given, in this case it's the sulfur dioxide, they give me a mass, so I need to use this formula. And then for the molar mass of the sulfur dioxide, it's the sulfur, which is 32, and the 3 oxygens, so that gives me a molar mass of about 64. And then I have 2 moles. Then I can go on to calculate the moles asked of the one in question, which is my sulfur trioxide, and I do that using my ratio. So the ratio, it's 2 to 2, but if I simplify it, it's 1 to 1. which means that I will also have the number of moles of the sulfur trioxide is also 2 moles, and then I just change the moles into what I need. I need the mass, and again I use my mass formula. The mole is 2, and the molar mass of the sulfur trioxide, so I add another 16, which gives me a mass of 160 grams. So I should have gotten 160, but I got 140, and that gave me a percentage yield of 87.5%, which is actually not bad. So there you have it, percentage yield and percentage purity. Now you can go and rock this in your exam.